Welcome to Mereak Firmaxe Rebuilds Moria. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe below. This supplemental video was a request that was made to discuss the building pieces removed from the game since version 1.1. Okay, so last night I was asked by someone to show them the video I did like a half a year ago, and where I documented all the missing pieces that were the pieces that aren't missing, they're just taken out of the game. And I thought I had the video, and I was like, oh, okay, not a problem. Unfortunately, my organization skills early on with videos wasn't as good as it is today. And I have over 200 videos now, so I'm putting a lot of light on this situation so you get a clear picture of what I'm building. So I have a PDF document where I highlighted all the differences in the building stuff. Now, there are pieces that I don't think matter anymore. For example, this piece and this piece have the posts on the end of them. And today we have this. If I had a Busum wood, which I guess I don't. Alright. Today we have the pieces without. So here's one. And you could just put your own end cap on it and it's the same piece. So that's not what I'm talking about. These, whether they divided it into two pieces, it's convenient sometimes to have two, and it's convenient sometimes to have one. And we know that the performance of the game is better with the fewer pieces you have. So I don't know if these pieces count as two, both of them, or both of them one. Have no idea. I've been trying to get that out of the brains of the devs for quite a while, but I have not been successful. Okay. So there are a bunch of those pieces, and they refactored all of the sizes of the scaffolding. But now that's a permanent change. So, and that, by the way, worked better. I have no issue with that. That's not what I'm talking about. Adamant is largely the same. There's no changes to Adamant. They added a few pieces that were missing. Thank you very much, by the way. I was very appreciative of that. And they changed the way Adamant worked, which was fantastic. So I'm not talking about that either. What I'm talking about when I talk about the bulk of the missing pieces are the decorative pieces, which do have structural integrity. And I will go through those now. Now, I will post the PDF as well as this video. And again, the pieces that are like this one, the wood column, here's another example. Used to be you could take a wood column and you could see that had a thing on it, already. Today you have to build it in two pieces, which is quite honestly not horrible. And gives a lot more flexibility, by the way, because instead of having two columns with different decorations and you had to overlay them to get them to work, and that added more pieces, this much better. So the parts that I'm talking about are the mix and match pieces for some of the granite walls. Now here is one. Probably should be facing this way. And today they've replaced it with a couple with pre-chosen tops and bottoms. And you could always add a little piece like this crown here, which is different than that crown on one side. And it had two different faces. One had a flat with no upper crown molding, and then one had a crown molding. And neither one of the heads were that big. And so you could mix and match the pieces to fit. Now those two pieces look very similar, but for example, you could not take and decide that you wanted a piece like this with this crown. That does not exist. The ability to create that does not exist. However, a configuration like that is used in several buildings. Now they've downgraded a bunch of the buildings, particularly in the they've simplified them over time, I believe due to performance, and it did a fantastic job. Because I think there was a balance. I think some of the buildings, they personally, not a criticism, I love the dev team and I love the work that they do, so don't read this as a criticism. But for my personal taste, I think the oversimplification of some of the buildings took away from the grandeur of the dwarves. Now, this is a very complicated building, and it is gorgeous. And you look at that building and you say, well, first thing you say is, I wish I had all the pieces for this building so I could build it. Which even with the pieces I'm about to point out to you, we don't have all the pieces. And I've put in bug reports for that as well, because I'd really like the additional pieces. Heck, I'd be willing to pay for the additional pieces to rebuild the structures, like the staircases, like these buildings, or build them from scratch, which I have a series of videos on trying to match those as close as we can. But with the missing pieces, I could replicate that building entirely if I so desired. Now in the desolation, it totally makes sense that they're destroyed. Also not saying that. Actually, I like that touch. So the mix and match pieces are the pieces that I'm talking about. And I am going to just build them real quick. Alright, small decorative wall. A plain crown. Small wainscoted wall. And of course you could put the crown on the one that you wanted. In fact, there are multiple crowns. Here's another crown. I'll put this in the center. It has a finial on top. This wall here doesn't have the same base that one does. It's just a plain base. That's a small, simple wall. Now they did change the coloring of this one just in the by and by. They changed it to green, which some of the models had green. But they also had a half one like this. I don't mind that they changed the coloring, though they also had this one, which was incredibly convenient. And this, which I used all the time. I love that one. I know someone online said, oh, the colors don't quite match. I'm like, okay. I do miss that one in particular. We had a window without a top, without a headpiece to it. We had another small window, which was very nice. It had a nice footplate on it. Same with the double window. Let's see. Did I cover all of those? Then we had littler pieces. Here's a small it's 3/4 height with a baseboard And this is a 3/4 height, which was actually very convenient to use instead of 3 smaller pieces all the time. Now we have a bunch of narrow wall bases and we have a narrow wall crown today, but they took this one away, which I was like, why would you take this away? This one was very convenient. This was convenient, and I'm hoping this isn't why they took it away, but this one was very convenient because you could take this, though the coloring on that block in particular was a little off. And you could say, okay, if I don't want something like this with the finial in the middle. By the way, snapping on these old blocks works great now. You could do this. Now, grant you, the coloring on the bottom part of that block, it doesn't match anything else, and that is a little annoying, but I would have lived with it. So that piece is gone too for some reason, even though this piece with the same coloring issue still exists in the game. No rhyme or reason there. Alright, let's talk about the last couple pieces. The wall base. So this is the bottom of a wall, and this is a middle. And you could literally mix and match the pieces that you wanted. So if you wanted to do that, you could. Oh, I got a collision there with the light. Maybe take a plane. That's, of course, the barriers in the game. Or you could just add it. Let's say you had a wall. Let's walk over here. This is how useful these pieces were, and you're like, okay, I like this wall, and I want a base, want that base, and now here's a wall that's in the game. Here's a wall that's in the game. But let's say you wanted the baseboard, the ridge, but at the top you wanted the finial. Wow, look at that. And technically you don't have to have, you just build that wall up from scratch. You don't have to start with a wall. In fact, I wouldn't start with the wall. Now you will find walls exactly like this directly in front of me in the game, but you cannot create them today. So that's what I'm talking about. Let me destroy these, and I'll give another pass over here as I slowly destroy these here so you can watch it. Alright, plain wall base. Use that piece all the time, by the way, as an area like for a just a decorative barrier. Did that not give me granite back? Alright, small ornate window. A small narrow unadorned wall. Small narrow plain wall. Small wood paneling. Wood trim crown. Small ornate window. Small simple wall. Decorative crown. I like that one too. Small decorative wood paneling. Very useful when you want to make a room that's wood. Small decorative wall. Plain crown. Small wainscoted wall. Alright. We'll do some more because I promised I'd do them all. Now we'll start on the archways, which unfortunately, even missing these archways, you still don't have the right archways to rebuild all the buildings. But this is 3 out of, now everyone knows that a normal wall is 4 high. And these are largely 3 high, so you could mix or match those crowns and bases. Here's another one. Alright, let's talk about these. Alright, so this is the normal archway, like we see up here, without the header. Right? All these are archways without the header. So that one exists with a plain header. Where did they go? Okay. This one exists with a header. This one does not exist anymore, though it is very close, just narrower than the other one. Instead, they gave us this one, which was odd because it doesn't even look the same. But so these 3 are no longer available. Now we'll talk about the large base. Now they removed these because instead of this, you can place 3 of these, which I get, right? Though if performance degrades with the number of pieces you have, not knowing if both of these are 3 pieces or if this one here in front of me is 1 and that's 3, if this one counts at 1, I would certainly put this piece back. Though you can live without that piece. I mean, so you have to stack 3 on top of one another. Big deal. But if it would help with performance, that one's certainly useful. And this top one, certainly useful. Now I can tell you structurally that one, the horizontal one up there, seems to be more structurally sound when building than with 3 of its similar pieces. I don't know if that's just perception or if it's reality. Then of course we have this archway, which is not this archway, it's the top part of the archway. This one's still in the game. That one's the top. Alright, so that top part of the archway is non-existent in the game, though there is a similar piece. Alright, those are the pieces that are largely the different pieces. Small archway corner, large archway crown, large archway base, small wide archway, small narrow archway, and small narrow archway. I don't know why there are two. Did I do two by accident? Small wide archway, small narrow archway. Oh, I might have done two by accident. Sorry about that. Anyway, that is the deal. So, again, not a complaint. Very much love this game, obviously. Very much enjoy playing it, obviously. Uh, would like more building pieces, and the other ones returned, including all the missing ones, so I can build the buildings that exist in the game. That would very, very, very much make me happy. Alright, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you for watching Mereak Firmaxe Rebuilds Moria. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe below. Supplemental video discussing the building pieces removed from the game.